always fail.
I always fail because I'm not like I can't rank things like you.
You're not sitting in the car and start freaking out because you can't rank it. Which one was better? Series 3. We've made it. There's a lot of nostalgia in this series for everyone, apparently. I really like this. I really like this season.
More than 2?
Much more than 2. Significantly more than 2.
I would agree that it's objectively better.
It's got some shit episodes, but
I don't think its shit episodes are as shit as 2's shit episodes.
yeah. I think this is probably my favorite of Davy's arcs. It's the most well realized. It like actually holds together.
Yeah.
And this series went, oh yeah, remember when we did themes in series 1? Maybe we should do that
we should
again.
Probably do that again.
Maybe we should have themes. Yeah, we can kind of talk about the season as we go. Let's just jump into the episodes, I guess, unless we have any opening statements.
Vote Saxon.
Yeah, vote, of course, yeah. Harold Saxon for U.S. president.
For king of the world.
Yeah. So, technically not the start of Series 3, but the Christmas episode is Runaway Bride. It's something.
I like this episode. I've mentioned this before. I sort of see the Christmas episodes as just like contained episodes, at least these first few Christmas specials. I think I sort of just judge them within themselves, not really with the rest of the show, unless it's like tangentially connected.
Right.
But so within this episode, I think it's just fun. I don't take it super seriously, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah. The big takeaway is this is the first Donna episode. I think right off the bat, she's immediately the best Davies era companion.
Yeah.
Possibly the best of New Who. We'll see.
Yeah.
And then there's whatever else happens in this thing.
It's not super memorable, but I think just in the moment, it's a fun romp. You get the Doctor flying the TARDIS on the highway, and you get a big spider, and you get to see the Tenant go beast mode.
Yeah, and the prosthetics, the effects of the spider are really good.
Yeah, that is actually some top tier practical monster effects right there. Her performance, a little cringe,
something else,
a little cringe, but I'm able to overlook it because of how good the design is, and because it's a Christmas episode, so I don't take it seriously.
Yeah, so the big I'll lay out some of the stupid moments of this, of which there are plenty.
Yeah.
The opening, which was ripped from Doomsday, the what? It's
Doomsday?
a little silly. End of Doomsday, where Donna just appears and goes, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that again. It's a little silly.
Oh, right.
Giant spider lady, pretty silly. Draining the entirety of the Thames into the center of the earth.
Yeah.
Pretty silly. When Donna's fiance says, I'm just the HR rep, and this time it's personnel. Pretty silly.
It's so good. Oh.
Yeah, we get a really good moment at the end. We get David Tennant in his first
kind of genocidal moment.
Yeah.
And we get more of that to come.
And Donna has that great speech at the end where she's like, you need someone to stop you, boy.
Yeah. He makes the TARDIS make it snow.
Yeah, that's in my notes. Yep.
I don't care. It's a fucking time machine. Who cares?
Yeah, this is our first mention of Mr. Saxon, because he is the Department of Defense leader at the moment.
Yeah, they say his name like that. Yeah, he gives like the
order
for the tanks to shoot down the Christmas star-esque ship of the Spider Lady.
Yep. And it is implied because he was the president of the Department of Defense. What is Britain? Is Britain real? It's implied he kind of shot the laser during Christmas Invasion as well. So that's kind of when he landed.
Was that not Torchwood?
It was Torchwood, but
they don't have the...
Yeah. It's,
like,
I don't know. Yeah.
Who cares? Torchwood, Bad Wolf, Saxon, vote Saxon.
Vote Saxon.
Yeah.
What word can we throw throughout the season? Saxon. Okay, good.
Yep.
Good. Got it. Good. No, this arc is really good, and I'll talk about it when we get to the end, especially compared to the other Davies arcs. I don't know if you have anything else to say. I'll just read the notes if we're done already with this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What? How many have you abducted?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Donna says that.
The time hammer makes a return.
Mm-hmm.
They clap. I don't know what that means. I never know what these mean.
Oh, when they hugged the fiancé.
Yeah.
Donna does.
PTSD.
Yeah.
They've replaced Mickey.
Donna's getting married to Mickey.
Yep. Segue. When they're just riding through.
Well, they do laugh, so it's pretty funny.
Oh my lord. The villain. Just the villain, that's all.
Yeah.
This time it's personnel, yep. The effects of this season are suddenly really good, and then they're later on not so good.
Yeah, the ship was actually really good, and the effect of it getting blown up by all the tanks looked great.
Yeah, and it's even shooting its lasers and stuff. Blue is back. The blue lights, they're back.
They're always there.
Goosebumps looking. I think that's like most of my notes for this series. Really like Donna.
Yep.
And TARDIS snow button. You could forget that. I won't.
I don't. I just don't care. I just don't care. It travels through time and space.
It can escape the event horizon of the black hole.
Yeah, I'll justify it. What about it? I don't care. It can change the weather now too. Who gives a shit?
Nothing matters.
It's a magic box.
Nothing matters. I would give this episode a 3 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah.
The lowest I would go is a 5.
Wow.
And then the highest I would go is probably a 6.
Yeah. In good conscience, I can't give this above a 3.
Oh my goodness. Even with even how they knocked it out of the park with most of the effects.
They did. Yeah. No, the effects are great. And I want to give it a 4, but it's too dumb. It's too dumb.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's see what you say when we get to the fucking finale.
I really like Donna in this. She's better next series because they kind of flesh her out. But she is really great in this.
She is a great companion. I can't wait.
I like when David Tennant goes, "You shouldn't let a man with a screwdriver near the sound system." And he goes,
they pull that move like 20 times.
Yeah, and they reuse the Christmas Invasion Santas.
Yeah.
That's kind of a knock against it too, because it just seems lazy to me.
But they look better, and they're robots.
They do look better, yeah.
And the David Tennant flies the TARDIS on the highway.
Yeah, he does.
I kind of like the shots. You get to see sort of the inside, the bigger on the inside, from an angle.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I do like the Transformers bit.
The kids
where the
clapping,
kids are clapping
when Donna jumps. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's good stuff in this episode. I would say it's not a skip. It's fine, but it is really, really stupid.
Well, it's definitely not all that necessary. It's just fun.
Right. It's necessary for introducing Donna, but it's not nearly as necessary as something like Christmas Invasion,
right,
which happens to secretly set up the entire arc of this series.
Sure does. And we haven't even seen the last of it.
Yeah.
With what happens.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that. That's an episode. That is an episode. Up next, the series officially starts with Smith and Jones This is our introduction to Martha. A hospital gets transported to the moon, and there's some guys that go foo roo moo roo 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 coo doo.
The Jadoon are great.
They are. They're really good.
The first time that happened, I like lost it. I just wasn't expecting it at all.
This is a really good episode.
It is.
This is one of Martha's best in this season, I think.
Arguably a better introduction to the Doctor for a companion than like Rose's.
Yeah.
Rose's introduction to the Doctor was just that he's like a terrorist.
Yeah.
And then this one, you get him doing all sorts of stuff on the moon.
Yeah. And you get to see how much of a different companion Martha is, because her kind of first scene with the Doctor there is when she's looking at the window and goes, "Let's open the window. If we would have lost the air, it would have happened. These aren't airtight." So she's thinking out, she's reasoning it out.
Mm-hmm.
She's a medical student, almost a doctor.
Yeah, she before the hospital's transported, she checks out Doctor's both of his hearts.
Yep.
I thought that's a cool touch.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Oh, actually,
and her professor or whatever goes, "You having trouble finding the heart?"
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Actually, she sees the Doctor before she even gets inside the hospital because he does the whole time traveling bit
where he takes his tie off.
Yeah,
and yeah, that's something I like too. Martha is a different companion from Rose, and in the same way, her family is very different from Rose's. Because all the Russell companions have their like family entourage.
Yeah.
And Martha's is just a bunch of mean people.
Yeah, Rose has Jackie, and I like Jackie. Jackie's
I like
full
Jackie
of
a lot,
personality.
yeah.
And then like Mickey isn't family, but he's close. But then Martha just has like this chaotic.
Yeah. Her dad is going out with a young blonde lady.
With Peyton List.
Yep. Her mom is angry and stuff.
Angry all the time.
Her brother
drawn on
is
eyebrows.
a little slow. Tish is there.
His sister's always getting them
jobs.
Getting them into trouble.
From
from
billionaires.
Evil people.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like that a lot. I like the kind of mix up there. It's good not to completely retread the same thing. Yeah, and so it turns out the Jadoon are not the villains of this episode. The villain is an old lady with a straw.
Yep. And two bikers.
Yeah, and two people in biker outfits.
I like it.
I do too. I really like
goofy.
that. It's the good amount of goofy.
Yeah, it's like low budget. We're not doing prosthetics beyond the Jadoon.
Yeah.
So we'll just put a fucking biker helmet on him. I don't care.
Yeah. And as much as I think they potentially ruin Martha with her unrequited love story, it does make sense in this episode because it's such like a powerful introduction.
Yeah, the Doctor. It's like almost like of course she falls for him.
Right.
Like of course she does. You know, they're both young, attractive people, and he's like this quirky, quirky guy saving the day.
Saving the day.
Yeah, saving her.
Yep.
He knows what's going on while nobody else does.
Yep.
He's the man with the plan.
He is the man.
He's the man who takes radiation, concentrates it into his shoe.
Yep, he's the man who kills a person with a cancer laser.
Yeah, and then gets his blood sucked out and comes back and carries her out onto the moon.
And that's something I like too in this episode for Martha is she is very competent. She saves him almost as much as he kind of saves the day.
Yeah.
And she loses a little bit of that in the middle of this series.
Yeah.
But it's really good in this one.
They definitely keep the whole learned med student angle throughout the series.
Yes.
It's almost bringing up almost every episode with her.
To the point where it tilts them off to a giant Batman bomb that we'll get to later.
I almost forgot.
Yeah, don't forget.
That's why I told you to put it in the notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like, that's her thing. And
Right.
they give her that. She's got two things. She's a med student and she likes the doctor and he doesn't notice her.
Yep. Yeah, and where they let down Rose in series 2 by having her have no character at all other than she's just
I'd like
there.
to call it established. She's
Okay,
already established.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, right. I was much too nice in the series 2 video. I like how they do develop Martha really well. And actually, a complete tangential thought here. Let's go back to the Impossible Planet because we haven't talked about the Impossible
Yeah, it's
Planet.
time to talk about it for another hour.
Yeah. I did want to say something about Matt Jones that I looked up because I was looking into him. He wrote one Torchwood episode, as I mentioned, and Martha is in that episode. So it's kind of makes sense here. But it's just interesting because the villain of that episode is just death, like incarnate.
Epic.
So Matt really does like his theological cosmic horror stuff. So bring him back.
Bring back Matt Jones.
If you hear me now, Mr. BBC, bring back Matt Jones.
Bring back Matt Jones or there will be consequences.
We know you killed Matt Jones, but bring him back. Yeah, you have anything else on Smith and Jones? I got some notes.
Big fan. Yeah, does a great job introducing the dynamic between Martha and the doctor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, the Martha
The Martha.
is she's definitely competent. She's definitely useful.
Yeah.
I love the Jadoon prosthetics and
Yeah, they look great. They really do.
It's pretty good. Good episode.
My notes here. Okay, this is epic. I don't know. Again, like there's no context for these ever. Martha's theme, very good. I had a
Not
cousin.
as good as Bad Wolf.
Of course, no.
Oh yeah, that's how they
Explain the Torchwood thing. Yeah.
How there's Martha in Doomsday, or the first part of Doomsday.
Yeah, exactly. Star Trek Salt Vampire, pretty much. Grabs hand, run. He's doing it again.
He's grooming him.
The doctor, when he points out the leather fetish of the bikers. Very
Right.
cool. And then the genetic exchange. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how you get them.
Just give him a little genetic exchange.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a great episode. I'd give it an 8. Big fan. Big fan. Big fan.
No
Hooroo,
complaints.
poo, moo.
The only one here besides
Then the third episode is a famously hated episode by people. We will continue our controversial opinions by saying it's pretty fine.
Yeah, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
Yeah. I will say it's forgettable. It's kind of forgettable.
Yeah, but revisiting it, I actually kind of appreciate their writing for Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he's a pirate, he dresses like a pirate.
He's a pirate.
Yeah, but
It's in the notes.
it actually held my interest. It was pretty interesting. The madhouse and the witches and the intrigue. It's a decent
Second adventure.
yeah, like past adventure. I mean, they kind of like follow the same beats in this as they do like season 1 and 2. Kind of, I would like compare this to Unquiet Dead and say that it is much better than Unquiet Dead.
It is. Yeah, and this is where my justification starts. This sets up the end of the series because the whole theme of this episode is the power of words and the power of what words can do. Because the witches are, I don't remember what they're called.
Do you want me to like argue this now? Because I will.
But it sets up the power of names and words.
Okay, we'll get to that when we get to the scene.
It does though. Like this proves that this is a thing in the universe. They do.
They don't re-mention it at the end.
They don't need to.
They should.
There's
For something that literally is your like Deus Ex Machina, your solution, they should mention it. You know how Doctor Who like has to show you flashbacks like an anime for something that happened like an episode
they
ago.
do, yeah.
They don't with that, so I don't give it a pass.
But I mean the Carrier Knights, that's what they're called.
Right.
She says Martha Jones and almost takes out Martha.
Yeah, makes it pass.
So-
I like that idea. I do like the power words thing.
Because yeah,
And
that's something I
names.
agree with.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good bit. It's a good sci-fi / fantasy bit, but I don't think it connects, unfortunately.
I think it does because I think this is why the Series 3 arc works really well for me, is because they do set up things earlier in the series that then pay off. And sometimes, we'll get there, they do go overboard on the flashbacks. They really go overboard on the flashbacks, but they set up things and then they do pay them off. And the Davies era of the show is, I don't know if this is the right word, but it is dumber. I think that's why he does the flashbacks and stuff. Moffat doesn't give a shit if you understand it all.
Right.
So he's like, screw the flashbacks. We'll get to Hellbent when we get there. But he's like, yeah, you won't understand any of this.
I like that. I like the lack of flashbacks and things, but like I said, that's a very anime trope.
Yeah.
And being somebody who's watched quite a number of animes, I like kind of just learned to live with it.
Yeah, accept it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the aesthetic of this episode I really enjoy. Old London is cool. The greens and just the witch prosthetics, various things when she's flying away on her broom cackling.
Just
it's
a
great.
classic witch face.
Yeah, it's great. Martha has the line where she goes, am I going to be put into slavery? And the doctor goes, whatever, and just leaves.
She has a moment where she also is like, questions the doctor about time. She's like, what about the butterfly effect? You know,
and he's like, shut up. What do you know about butterflies,
Exactly.
you stupid...
Yeah, he's like, don't step on any butterflies then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that sets up, the doctor doesn't give a shit about Martha.
True.
Pretty, yeah.
So true.
So true. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to say about this episode. I do think it contributes to the series arc, so it's not pointless. It is kind of a fillery episode, but it's watchable.
Yeah.
Shakespeare's in it, and he's got an ear piercing.
And he's a pirate.
There's not a lot to say.
The voodoo doll thing is entertaining.
Yeah, the DNA replicator.
Her putting out one of the doctor's hearts, but him surviving, of course, because he's got the other is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the power of words, like you said, naming something, the power in a name.
Yeah.
I like that concept a lot.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's like if you, if everyone on the planet, thought someone's name at once,
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you.
Here's my notes. Where's Gareth? This episode was written by Gareth someone.
Oh
so
my
that's
gosh.
why I put that.
It's a Davies plot. We keep seeing Gareth everywhere.
Gareth is following me everywhere I go. Are you planning to? I don't know what that means. It's something Shakespeare says. No, that's the butterfly effect thing, yeah. London never changes.
So true.
So
People
true.
tossing
Shit
feces
out
out their windows.
Shakespeare has an earring.
Yep.
Followed by,
Sure does.
He's a pirate.
He is. He dresses exactly like a pirate.
Shakespeare's actor rhymes, does Fortnite dance off stage. And then the one thing that pisses me off about this episode is the Harry Potter stuff.
Well,
it's
Harry Potter
It's
was
because it was relevant.
It was
yeah.
big at the time, and book 7 hadn't even come out, so the doctor makes a funny joke.
Right.
He's like, wait until you read book 7.
And that does almost lend to the Power of Words theme a little bit. So it's fine, whatever. I don't care. Whatever. I hate it. Whatever.
Yeah, stupid.
I'd give this a 6 out of 10. It's watchable, but it's nothing super special.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And that brings us to our future episode, which is Gridlock. This is kind of the last in the New Earth Face of Bow trilogy.
Yep. I love Gridlock. I just love the idea and the feel of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's mostly about just the feel of the episode.
Yeah,
The,
and it feels like they came up with this concept and then kind of rode around it.
Right. Yeah, well, that's probably every Doctor Who episode
Yeah.
ever. They come up with one like phrase or word and they're like
Bad Wolf.
Or
Saxon.
yeah, just an idea and then run with it.
Yeah.
No, I just like the look of it. I like the look. I like it's like a more light-hearted Blade Runner almost.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's so many great little concepts there. The drugs that give you
Just
emotions.
an emotion. Yeah.
Being stuck perpetually in a
Highway system. Yeah.
where you're there for 32 years and you move 5 feet,
Yeah.
and then you get the expressway where it only takes 20 years.
And then you'll die from crabs.
Right, and yeah, you need 3 people, so there's the idea of kidnapping Martha at the start.
Yep.
And that's something I actually like quite a bit that they do in series 3, which is
They kidnap Martha.
almost every episode they will separate Martha and the Doctor, and it goes a long way to show you that she is capable by herself.
And it goes a long way for the writers being able to juggle 2 different things at once and sort of actually give the episode good screen time instead of just fluff.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, the Doctor runs into another Scottish cat person.
Makeup is great.
Makeup is once again great. And then yeah, he tries to find Martha. Martha kind of figures out how to hide from the crabs temporarily by setting off the systems. And all the characters in this are really memorable and great. I think they're very well written.
That's why I think, again, another reason I really like this episode beyond the aesthetics is just all the different people and the different cars are just interesting.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure Nate'll hate this episode,
Probably.
as we said. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, it ends with the Doctor making his way to the Senate. Him and the Face of Bo.
Everyone's dead.
Kind of let the car people out. Everyone's dead.
It was. It got a little convoluted.
Yeah.
But basically, you just need to know that like this one of those drugs that they introduced at the beginning of the episode, like one of the strains, it was like peace or contentedness, something like that.
Yeah.
Synonymous to one of those.
Peace or something.
Yeah, and it just like makes you content, and it just like created a virus that killed everyone. So then the Senate just locked everyone in that highway system to
right.
keep
They're
them
the last
alive.
people on the planet.
And the Face of Bo was like keeping them alive with his power or something.
He was giving his life force to.
Yeah, it gets a little convoluted.
Yeah. And they set up why no one else has come because the planet's been quarantined for another 50, 100 years or
about
something.
COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I wish.
I wish I was stuck on the highway.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and he frees Martha. He interrupts the hologram program to give his own little speech. There's the really great Murray Gold track called Something Abide,
I don't remember.
where they're all like singing a hymn. Then the Face of Bo says, "You are not alone," which will pay off
His
in a
big
really
secret.
dumb way.
You think what? Really?
Just the name. We'll get to Utopia. Just the name part of that.
What, the fact that it alludes that Jack is the Face of Bo?
No, the Yana.
Oh, that thing.
That's dumb.
I think that was added in post.
Probably,
him
yeah.
saying, because like the message "You are not alone" in
Right,
and of
the
itself
message
is
is
fine.
fine, yes.
Yeah, the whole Yana thing. That is definitely something. The writing room is just like, well, fucking, I don't know what's his last name. Make it connected to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Martha comes into the Senate and she thinks the Doctor's a skeleton for like.
I know. I
seconds.
was wondering if I was gonna mention that. It's a funny bit.
Yeah, it's a good bit.
Yeah. She just gets so worried for a second. She's like, "Doctor."
Yeah, the Face of Bo basically gives his life to open up the.
So he can die.
Yeah.
So how far in the future is it? It's like the 52nd century, something like that. So Jack,
I don't
pretty
remember.
old. What, like?
And that's the thing. It's never explicitly said if he's actually the face of Bo or if
What
that's
else
just a
is
nickname.
it gonna be? That's easily what it's implying.
Yeah, but it's pretty dumb.
Well, if he's immortal,
Well, why has he become a giant head?
don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because it looks cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
He wanted to.
He wanted to be.
It's because he's
giant head.
bisexual.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Checks out. This is another really good episode. It's kind of a concept-driven episode.
Yeah.
Why is it raining in the underground city?
Yeah, they didn't do great introducing the sort of like location at the beginning, like sort of the location as it connects to the underground versus the surface. They could have done way better establishing shots.
Yeah.
But once you're actually inside the highway system, it's very good. And I really like the end of this episode. The beginning is like Martha still doesn't know a lot about the doctor.
Yeah, and she has that line where she's like, "You're taking me to all the places you took her."
Yeah, and she.
What's wrong with that?
She in these first couple episodes has been questioning like his past and whatever. And I think for the first time in New Who, at the end of the episode, the doctor sits down with her and he starts to describe Gallifrey.
Yeah, the
and his
red
past
fields,
life.
the red apple grass.
He describes his home planet and race, and you never really got much of that. All you really got in the prior 2 seasons was just like there was a war, they all died.
Yeah,
Like they're gone, it's gone. But this time he actually really opens up.
And that sets up the series arc too, because we get to see Gallifrey a little bit at the end.
Yeah, it's kind of necessary.
Yeah.
For the payoff, and it's great because Tenant's performance, the writing and his performance for that scene where he talks to Martha, he's like, he really, at least for me, he made you, he convinced me that it's like, this was a place he actually has nostalgia for.
Yeah.
With his performance and the detail of the writing,
Yeah.
like, it was really well done.
Even though he often butts head with the other Time Lords, you can tell that is his home, and he misses it because it's gone.
Yep.
And yeah, it's made even kind of more powerful by the Face of Bo line just a little earlier.
Right. And I really appreciate that they didn't do any cuts yet to like actual visuals they created of Gallifrey. It's just the dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is really good. My notes for this: American Gothic. The opening starts with the American Gothic people, the farmer and his wife.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love how we both immediately recognized like what that was. What that was.
That was good.
Yeah.
Martha is a rebound.
Kind of.
This is a furry episode. And the blue lights return.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is an 8 out of 10 for me. I really like this
Good
one.
stuff.
Yeah.
Good
it's very
stuff.
good. And then it's time for a Dalek episode.
Let's go.
So
A two-parter.
A two-parter, yeah. We travel to 1920s, I guess it'd be 1930s, New York.
I think it's 29 actually.
No, because they're in Hooverville.
Okay.
So it'd be 30s. But yeah, there's some fantastic aesthetics in this. I love the 20s, 30s feel.
Yeah.
I really like when Discount Marilyn Monroe does
The
her
showgirl
routine.
is great.
Yeah.
Her accent.
Her accent is really
top
good.
notch, actually. Yeah.
The other accents.
My boy Andrew and the chief of Hooverville.
Yeah, I
His
have his name here.
Constantly fluctuating.
Solomon.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no. This is a interesting episode. It's another famously despised by the fans episode.
Is it really?
It is.
Why? I don't hate it.
Probably just the aspect of the Woody Allen Dalek that will.
Well, that
get
doesn't
to.
come until the second part.
Yeah, no, they just hate the whole story.
Okay. Yeah, Daleks in Manhattan, the episode, I actually really enjoy.
I think it is good.
Yeah.
I don't think it deserves the level of hate it's gotten over the years.
Yeah, the pig people, very scary. Once again, all the makeup in this season is great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And yeah, the
Yeah.
Hooverville, I actually, the idea of like this corrupt businessman working for the Daleks
Yep,
to
it's
like
good.
do something with the Empire State, do something nefarious with the Empire State Building. It's like goofy, but I
Right.
like it.
The Daleks built the Empire State Building.
It feels like, it just feels like an old plot line.
Mhm.
Like it feels something like not that could have been prior to the early 2000s
Yeah.
or the mid 2000s.
And I don't quite remember who. It was written by some lady, not any of the
Really.
normal writers. I can't remember her name. As far as I know, this is her only episode. So it could very well have been a Wilderness Years script that she just came in and pitched. But yeah, I think once again the characters are all really well developed. Tallulah's interesting. Her pig boyfriend is fine.
I don't think you even get to see him until second part, really. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
you just get him in the open. Andrew Garfield, despite his accent, is good. Solomon, I think, is a very good character as well.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see Hooverville, and they do some interesting things with it, where they're so accepting there that they just let a mutant pigman in. That's in the second part, but yeah, I really like the setting of this episode.
Yeah.
Because they did send a B crew. They got more budget, so they sent a B team to go film some New York stuff. They actually filmed the Statue of Liberty, and then they just put David Tennant and Freeman in front of a parking lot to film the below part, and it works. Yeah, and the aesthetic is great.
I think it gets stupid in the second part.
I agree.
Much more stupid.
I agree.
From the Woody Allen Dalek hybrid thing. His design is great, but his voice, I just have
Doctor, I'm the Woody Allen Dalek. Doctor.
I can't get over his stupid voice, and then it gets really autistic with the Doctor like blocking the lightning bolt
and putting Time Lord DNA in the people.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, it does not.
It does not make any sense.
And we were talking about, are they just going to be humans with Dalek brains? Because back in Parting of the Ways, they had said to, genetically engineer a Dalek, you needed hundreds of humans.
Yeah, I guess they're just like Dalek consciousness in human homunculi.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah. But the first part definitely has some genuine horror bits.
Yeah.
The pig people in the sewers is good.
I think them stealing Andrew Garfield, I forget which part that was in, but
that's the first part.
Okay, yeah, them stealing Andrew Garfield was pretty terrifying.
Right, because then they get Martha too. She's deemed above intelligence, so they bring her to the Woody Allen Dalek, soon to be Woody Allen Dalek, Dalek Sec.
Like, I liked the corrupt businessman that they used to make this hybrid.
Yeah.
I liked him before he became the hybrid.
Yes. Yeah, so this is the return of the Cult of Skaro. This is where they temporally shifted to. And they're good. They're good like they were last time. The Daleks are always
the
good.
whole, like, they become, the rest of the Dalek team becomes conflicted after the genetic modification of their leader.
Yeah.
Because he has humanity.
Yeah, he has feelings, he has emotions, which is a no-no.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll read my notes for this first part, then we can talk second part here. Chillology Goosebumps, that's the pig people there. I told you, every note is just goosebumps.
Right.
We get some Gershwin, some Rhapsody in Blue.
Yep.
Spider-Man, I think that's Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Some guys are just pigs. That's the line.
That's the line.
That's the line. Doctor has a Ruton when he picks up that gross green thing in the sewer and he's like sniffing it. This episode feels really, really long.
It does.
It does.
It really did. That first part.
That first part, it's
felt
not
like it
bad,
went on forever.
but it felt like it goes on for a really
sure.
long time.
Yeah.
And then finally, Woody Allen Dalek.
There he is.
This first part, I'd give a 6 out of 10. I don't think it's nearly as bad as people have ascribed it.
No. Moving on to the second part.
Yep, evolution.
Just because we're kind of talking about both of them in conjunction.
Yeah.
There is one thing in the second part I really like is as they're like the doctor's little kind of speech that's like one of the things that's getting through to the hybrid Dalek. He's like the things you dogs don't get is like, you know, I'm butchering it, but he's like the things you dogs don't get is like, you know, take this radio for example. It's like, what is it for? It's like it's just for music, you know, it's not for anything. But you can dance to it, you can fall in love to it, and that sort of I don't know, I like that bit.
Yeah. And this is I guess Gridlock would be the first one, but this one hammers it home. Probably the biggest theme of Series 2 is the idea that humanity survives. There is some kind of aspect...
You mean 3?
Yes. Did I say 2?
Yeah.
There's some kind of characteristic in humanity that has a will to keep living. And that's why the Daleks...
And you see it literally takes humans to the end of time.
Yeah, they're the only race that survived to the end of time.
Yeah.
And that's why the Daleks are trying to merge with them, is to get this survival endurance aspect.
Yeah.
And they get the unwanted aspects of culture and emotion and everything else.
Yep.
And so once again, this episode, despite being standalone, does lead into the finale in some regards. It sets up another theme too, which we'll get in Lazarus Experiment, which is this idea, agree with it or not, of just evolution, because that's kind of another theme in this series.
No, yeah, I agree with all of that.
Yeah, I really like when they bring out Sek and he's on a leash.
He's in chains on all fours.
And he saves the doctor because he has a sense of humanity.
He actually, you know, intelligently realizes that the doctor is the only one who would give them a chance to sort of reinvent themselves as an independent species and let them live if they're not so genocidal.
Right.
So he, you know, wanted to ally with the doctor.
Yeah, and that's sets up kind of Last of the Time Lords with the I Forgive You as well.
Yeah.
I like Martha again a lot in this. She has her own agency. She discovers they need to take the stuff, the Dalekanium, off of the Empire State Building.
Dalekanium.
Yeah, and she does stuff. She has knowledge, and it's good.
They lead a bunch of pipes to the elevator of the pigmen coming, and the lightning strike gets it, and
the doctor can undo the jackhammer with his screwdriver, but he can also apparently just rip it off.
No, he couldn't rip it off, so that's why he stood in the way. What happened was the jackhammer was needed to like put the Dalekanium on,
right?
And he could undo that with a screwdriver. I'm okay with that. The problem I had was that he couldn't use his screwdriver to like stop the elevator with the pigmen coming. He couldn't shut down the elevator.
Yeah.
The sonic screwdriver really is just a plot device. It's like it'll work when they need it to work, and it won't work when it's too convenient.
That's one of the big problems with all the new Who stories, is the sonic screwdriver really is just a magic wand.
But then if they don't want it to work, then it won't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of dumb. This episode is significantly dumber than the first one.
Yep.
I don't have a whole lot else to say unless you got something.
No, I don't know. Pig boyfriend
almost dies, then he doesn't.
Yeah, the doctor's like, the doctor is in, and saves him because the pigs have
short lifespans. Yeah. My notes here. Solomon's speech at the beginning's pretty good. Where he tries to reason with the Daleks in Hooverville.
Gets exterminated.
And Woody Allen Dalek agrees with him, and then they just murder him. The Dalek filter is as good as ever. I have Laura Palmer here. I don't know what that's in reference to.
Is that Laura Palmer?
Oh, it's the people in the body bags, I think.
Yeah.
Dalekanium. The Empire State Building is in the shot of New York.
Oh
them
my
looking
gosh,
out
that's what I forgot
of the
to
Empire
mention.
State Building.
Frickin' British people. They're on top of the Empire State Building, and you can see the Empire State in the wide shots.
Yeah, that's a bit rough. And then I just have the climax, because the climax of this episode is really, really dumb. I'm going to hit you with a 1-2 switcheroo and give this a 3 out of 10.
Damn.
It is significantly worse, mostly because of Woody Allen Dalek.
He's almost good, though.
He's almost good. And then it is just really, really stupid. But
I wouldn't. I don't hate it that much.
But it does contribute to themes of the season, so it's not worthless.
Right.
And then speaking of worthless, our next episode is the Lazarus Experiment. Please inform us on what the Lazarus Experiment is.
Okay, well, you see, Mark Gatiss. He's an old man. Mark Gatiss is an old, sick old man. He needs help, so he creates the Lazarus Pit, which is a big PS1 device.
Yep.
And he steps in it, and then he comes out, and he's a young man again.
Yep.
And well, we find all this out because Martha's sister Tish is working at the labs, at Lazarus Labs, and then it seems like it didn't work so well. Mark Gatiss is a little different. He's not just young and hot again and fake blonde. He's a big PS1 monster as well.
He's the Thing from the 2014 version of The Thing.
Ugh,
Yeah, that's him.
don't talk about that.
This is another episode in the...
I actually don't mind the design, but you're right. It's just the face looks horrible mapped on there. It doesn't even look like Gatiss.
No, I don't think it is.
Yeah. But I think just like the design itself, the idea is fine. It's like a bloodborne monster.
Yeah, almost. It is kind of just like The Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so this episode, the doctor's about to kick out Martha because he's had his fun with her.
Yeah.
And
Then he grabs her panties and
yeah, that's
that
true.
are hanging
Yeah.
up, and she's like, "All right, I'm staying."
And then he sees on the television that Lazarus has been commissioned by Mr. Saxon to build this machine.
Mr. Saxon.
He's back. This is another episode in the Curse of Mark Gatiss, where every episode he touches is a steaming pile of shit.
I don't think this episode's like horrible. I just like don't care about it.
Yeah, no, it's certainly not the worst of the worst.
It's no fear her.
Yeah. Suddenly, Mark Gatiss is young, and then Tish likes him, I guess.
Yeah, he was creeping on her as an old man, and she didn't like that. But
Yeah. Now that he's a fake
Woman
blonde.
moment.
Yeah, kind of weird. I think the end of this episode is good. The speech the doctor gives him in the church, and then
you like that?
The whole organ playing.
I thought that
like
was sanctimonious crap. That's actually... He should have died in the actual lab. Instead, the whole thing at the end with the organ, I thought that was all crap. Even the speeches, I thought that was all. That's my least favorite part of the episode. Everything else I actually am fine with. I didn't like the ending. I didn't like the church bit. I thought that was crap.
I appreciate that they try to do something different.
I just think they do it really poorly.
They do it
I
really
like
poorly.
Spider-Man 3 moments in the church. I like those, but they do it poorly.
Yeah, this is a very almost Spider-Man episode, like Green Goblin, Doc Ock goes wrong.
I was just thinking more about how, like, anyways, this isn't the Spider-Man 3 podcast. That's later.
No, but I like how they try to do something different. This is set in the present. It connects to Martha's family vaguely.
This is the start of, this is how they tie it in, make it relevant to the rest of the season, is that this is when Martha's mother starts selling the doctor out to the government because her daughter's traveling with him, and they told Martha's mom something about the doctor that makes her distrust him.
Yeah. They said,
They never tell you what they told her.
They said
He's grooming.
Yeah, probably.
Which is true.
Which is true. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say. This episode is pretty dumb. It's an acceptable level of dumb, I think.
Another connection to the second Spider-Man movie series. He makes a bomb in the lab.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of Spider-Man this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot left to say. At the end, Martha decides she wants to be a full-time companion or nothing.
Yep.
And he says, okay. And she goes, fine, I didn't even care anyways. He's like, no, okay. Yeah. And then...
It ends. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Anyways, note time. We have the time ball. I don't know what that means.
The only monster here is in this church.
The only monster here is Mark Gatiss. Martha all dressed up, looking gorgeous. She looks good in this episode.
These opinions do not reflect my own.
This is a character created for a podcast. Martha's theme sounds like Sherlock Holmes.
A little bit. And Mark Gatiss is in this episode.
Mark Gatiss is in this episode, yeah. And Stephen Moffat created Sherlock, and
it's all connected.
I appreciate them attempting something different. Does it work? No. The Curse of Mark Gatiss. The Lazarus machine is what the TARDIS should look like.
No.
The Doctor almost going down on Martha in the Lazarus machine.
Ooh.
T.S. Eliot. We get some T.S. Eliot at the end.
Oh.
This is the way the world ends.
Mm-hmm.
Keep away from her, you bitch. And then the James Bond theme, apparently. I don't know. This is a 3 out of 10 for me. You could probably skip it, but it does set up the arc more, and it also sets up the themes more.
I know why this season's average ranking is the same as season 2 for you. It's because you gave the second part of Daleks in Manhattan such a low score.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this episode you could probably skip.
Mm-hmm.
It's whatever. And our next episode is the first episode.
Well, can you skip it because that's when literally when it first establishes Martha.
You should
Martha's
probably
mom.
watch it because thematically it contributes, and also plot-wise it does contribute.
Yeah. That's the only way.
And she becomes a full-time companion. Yeah.
Otherwise, no one would.
Our next episode is the first one written by legendary bleep Chris Chibnall. It's 42.
Is that next? I thought that was
that's
after.
Next, yeah.
Oh yeah, they just put the 2 shit episodes in the middle, just get them out of the way.
They do. The backstory behind this is the BBC and Davies wanted to make an episode like the popular American show 24. So they wanted to make a real-time episode, 42 minutes. So they said, this is a really bad idea. Let's get the worst fucking writer we have. Bring in Chris Chibnall.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and there's this really funny video of Chris Chibnall where he thinks he knows what he's talking about. And he goes, the Doctor's best when he's putting out multiple fires. And
what does that even mean? Literally, what does that even mean?
That's the problem with this episode. We start, they're on a spaceship.
Literally. He meant literally putting out fires.
The TARDIS is lost in the next 2 seconds. Suddenly one of the crew is possessed. Suddenly multiple parts of the crew are possessed. Suddenly
speeds.
Martha is stuck in the pod. Suddenly
he pulls a lever.
The Doctor brings back Martha. Suddenly the Doctor's infected. Suddenly, we have this 42-minute countdown going. It's a fucking nightmare. This is what a nightmare is like.
Yeah. This episode, as like crazy fast as it is, it couldn't keep my attention for a minute.
Boring, yeah.
It could not keep my attention for a minute. Not a single line of dialogue I remember. Like I remember the scenes because we just watched it, but in a month I won't remember anything.
No,
it's horrible.
Chris Chibnall says, What was the best episode we made so far? Oh yeah, that Matt Jones fucker wrote something. I don't know, bring a spacesuit back.
Yeah, yeah, literally just like makes a really horrible, shitty version of Impossible Planet.
Yeah,
kind of.
and it's also just Danny Boyle's Sunshine, which
Yeah.
I think came out before this, 2007. Yeah, it would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're. This is an episode for sure. I hate what they do with Martha in this episode.
This episode is actually pointless.
Yes.
You should probably watch Lazarus Experiment, whatever. But this you could skip 100%. You could skip.
Yes, you could. Yeah, Doctor starts this episode doing the exact same thing he did for Rose with the phone.
Only with his screwdriver this time.
Yeah, now his screwdriver just does it apparently. Yeah. Martha
his
has
screwdriver affects space and time.
Yeah. It's Sonic, yeah. Martha has some of her worst moments in this episode.
I don't even blame her. Like her performance isn't great, and I don't even blame her because it's such a shit script.
It's Chris.
And
it's Big Chris.
the direction probably was shit as well.
Yeah.
So I don't even blame her.
Yeah, no. There's only a couple moments where her acting isn't great here.
Yeah.
But her character writing is awful.
Well,
it's abysmal.
And that probably stems that creates the lackluster performance.
Yeah. Her only good moment is when she calls up her mom, like Rose did.
She kisses one of the crewmates at
She
the end.
kisses one of the crewmates for literally no reason.
Yeah, he was like, I've never had a girlfriend. They were stuck in a pod and almost died. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, the stupidest thing in the entire show, the doctor pulls the Deus Ex Machina lever.
The bring my companion back to me lever. The fix problem lever. Stares into the sun.
Yeah. I'm a little conflicted because I like the idea.
It's a good concept. It is.
The sun is sentient. They're using illegal energy boosters to suck.
This isn't the
power
Earth's
off.
sun, by the way. This
Right.
is like just a star in the future.
Yeah. And the sun is giving these people essentially a parasite
Right.
that's trying to get its
Because it's
energy
like
back.
it's a cosmic entity. It's cosmic
Yeah.
horror almost, but just done by a
Adjacent,
fucking
yeah.
retard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there is only one good Martha moment where she's going, "Oh, the doctor will save us. He'll save us." She's like really assured in him, and you can see his face, and he goes, "I'll save you, I'll save you," and then he's like, "I'm not gonna save you. You're fucking Martha. What do I
He's
care?"
gonna pull the fixed problem lever.
He thought about it, yeah. Jeez.
Worst episode of the season.
Oh,
just
without
because
a
it's
doubt.
just because it's like it's just so underwhelming for such a spastic episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it can be so underwhelming while piling on so much visual information at the same time.
Yeah. And it reuses visuals from Matt Jones. It kind of recycles his ideas a lot, but it does them incredibly poorly.
It's like a mixed version of Waters on Mars and like Impossible Planet, and it's shit.
Yes. There's the quiz questions they have to answer for some
That is
reason to
so
open
random.
the doors. Everything about this is
Not good.
really bad.
Not good. It's like I didn't even care about the only decent bit of writing in this whole episode is Martha's conversation with her mom.
Yes.
And even then, because the episode was so bad, I didn't care.
Right. And the only reason I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I almost guarantee you, because that is a series arc thing, Davies probably wrote that conversation.
Probably could have, yeah. Entirely possible.
Yeah. So my notes here, Martha lives in the shadow of Rose. So true.
Yep.
Ida, all British people look the same. Where's Kiefer Sutherland? Martha sucks in this episode.
Yeah.
Here Comes the Sun, the one good joke in the episode. Cyclops from X-Men. And we've replaced things with green light. Oh, wait, back to blue.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this episode a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't blame you. The ship is falling towards the sun, yet the Doctor is able to pull the return
Yes.
return
Yes,
the pod
The
lever.
solve solution problem.
Yeah,
lever,
yeah, and it comes back, but they're still falling towards the sun.
Yep.
That makes sense
Oh,
gravitationally.
it's magnets. Yeah, I don't. It's magnets. Yeah.
We can't get rid of Martha now.
This is the episode that I think really lets down Martha, unfortunately. But yeah.
Yeah, I just chalked that up to bad writing.
Yes, I agree.
Because she's not a bad actress.
No, I think Billie Piper is a better actress, but Freema does fine.
Yep.
And our next episode is Human Nature. This is written by Paul Cornell, who wrote a book during the wilderness years about this story, and Davies brought him in to adapt it.
Mm-hmm. Great concept. This is one of those Doctor Who two-parters that breaks the mold, in which the second part is probably better.
Second part, I would say,
first part is a little
definitively
forgettable.
Better.
Yeah, first part's a little forgettable.
Yeah, it's really good. We had joked like, we need the Matt Jones good two-parter in the middle of the series.
This is season 3's Matt Jones, Paul Cornell.
And I looked this up right after. Paul Cornell has written one other Doctor Who episode. You want to just take a wild guess?
I don't know.
It's also a human drama, and it's also really fucking good. And
Which
it's
Doctor?
Father's Day.
Oh!
Yeah.
Did we just not? We just didn't even mention that it was Paul Cornell.
We did
we?
not, no.
In the first podcast. Well, yeah, he's a really good character writer.
Dramatic character writer.
Yeah, he's like, it's like a soap opera that's like good.
Yeah,
And that's saying a lot,
Yep.
because I do not care about soap operas usually.
Yeah.
Don't care about love dramas, and this one made me care about one.
Yeah, and it does it really well too.
Yep.
So yeah, the first part, the Doctor's being chased by these hunters that can track him through time and space.
You never really get a name other than like Family of Blood, do you?
No.
Maybe you do at the
They're
very
just
beginning.
called the Family in the first part, and then Family of Blood.
Well, I'm just thinking like their species name.
I don't think so.
I think he might have said
Maybe.
it once, but it was like really fast when he was like autistically explaining to Martha about the whole chameleon thing.
Yeah. So yeah, he puts on the he puts on the chameleon arch.
Martha, this watch.
And yeah, he becomes human.
Tenant is a good screamer.
He is.
That
He's
is
a really
very
good
apparent
screamer.
in this season.
Yeah.
He screams a lot.
Yeah,
this
and that's
season.
something I guess I'll mention now. Why not? I was a little cold on Series 2 David Tennant. Season 3 David Tennant, it's warming up.
They
It's
kicked
warming
up
me.
up his character a lot. They gave him the whole like he's cold.
Yeah.
He's like he's really. It's weird. It's a dynamic. He's warm to people, but then he's really cold to his enemies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he's like the most human of all of them. But then you piss him off and
it's over.
It breaks. Yeah.
And then
we see that at the end of Family of Blood.
And then he also suffers a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and then he also gets very nostalgic.
Yeah.
So they do him good.
They
do him good.
Yeah, and we'll see how Series 4 pans out. He might beat Eccleston by the end of it.
Damn.
Me, but we'll see.
That would be a surprise.
If he ever goes
I think
coward any day.
I think the specials are gonna do it for you.
The specials might do it
They're
for
so
me.
good.
Yeah, especially Waters of Mars.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn it off. No.
Yeah, the only bit I really remember and like about this episode is the whole like teacher aspect.
Yeah.
They bring it back.
They bring it
He's
back.
a professor. And they trash Martha this episode.
They really
but I
dunk on her, yeah.
admire, like, obviously because of the time period.
Yeah.
But I admire her ability to just kind of like let it roll off of her.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a huge like teachable moment. It's not a big
Right.
moment for the writers to like tote social
Right, and it's
messages.
like
It's
the
just,
modern writers should learn something.
Right.
Because they tote the social message,
Because
but Martha
it's-
doesn't need to go, oh, well,
Exactly.
I'm better than you.
Yeah, like she sort of has a moment in part 2 where she like shows her medical knowledge, but
Yeah.
that's just more about her like
Right,
knowing what
she's a
she's
medical
talking about.
student,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like it's not a huge like the only monster under this house is you. Like it's a like it's a social commentary that's actually done tastefully.
Yes, and it's done subtly, and it fits into the story without feeling super ham-fisted.
Yeah.
This has a good villain. The villain is really spooky.
Yeah, they never have a alien form other than like a gas.
A green ball.
Yeah. They just possess people. Test. There's no video.
Yeah.
That's not necessary.
You don't need to do that, sir.
We don't do that here. As I was saying, I after some time, it kind of grows on me that they don't have a physical alien form because their species is just kind of they just possess things to
Right.
live longer because they only have like a 3-month lifespan or something.
yeah.
They're like mayflies, the doctor says.
Yeah, and this first part, you mentioned it's a little bit forgettable. It's got a lot of good bits in it. I like his dream journal that they flip through.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
really
got-
only remember the human aspects.
Yeah, he's got the sketching and all that's good. The ship crashes and really spooky student getting beer gets possessed.
I like that. Good moment.
Good moment.
The zoom cut of him screaming.
Yep, always.
You get the introduction of one of the schoolboys having sort of a prophetic nature.
Yes. And then we basically end up going to the dance.
Mm-hmm.
The family of blood shows up and just murders everyone.
Sorry,
They-
did you do your notes for the previous one?
No, this is still the first part.
Okay.
Uh,
No, I meant 42.
yeah,
Okay.
they kill Wilf.
They kill Wilf, not Wilfred.
Um,
Every old veteran is Wilfred.
yeah, exactly. And all the dance stuff's really good. Martha brings him the sonic screwdriver. She's got her rules to follow from the doctor. This wasn't in the notes.
Yeah, but not him falling in love with one of the school staff.
Yeah. And then that is kind of the end of human nature at the dance there when they burst in,
And kill people.
kill people.
Take his love and Martha hostage.
Yep.
And he's like, I don't know. He has a Jimmy Stewart moment.
It's in here. It's
Oh
in
boy,
here,
oh boy, I didn't even know that. I just
yeah, so this is like normal again, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode. That's my first note.
epic.
Eccleston equals John Wayne. Tenant equals Jimmy Stewart. Matt Smith equals Cary Grant.
That just means nothing.
And Capaldi equals old Clint Eastwood.
That
That means nothing to no one else.
it just means nothing to nobody unless you're like autistic.
Cillian Murphy, question mark? That's what the guy looks like to me.
Who, the young kid that gets possessed?
Yeah,
Really?
a little bit.
I don't see it.
Mr. Magoo machine, when he throws his apple, and there's that.
He's like, you could find courage at the most ordinary of places. Oh,
I have Time Lady from City of Death sketch.
I
Don't worry.
don't
about
know
that.
what any of those words mean.
Don't worry about that. That's just for me.
Okay.
Uh,
I almost killed you.
yeah. It wasn't me. I don't know what that means either. Can't find Jones. Bring in Cornell.
Right.
And then my
Jones
last
is
note.
MIA.
My last note. I hate this kid.
Yeah,
Referring
you-
to the
you-
prophetic kid.
Yeah, who can see into the future because he
But can't see how effing annoying he is.
owned. Got him.
Don't. Yeah, do you have anything else to add on human nature?
No, I'm just more down to talk about the second part.
For me, human nature, it is a little forgettable. The aesthetic is perfect, though.
Oh, yeah.
The
The
setup for the story is
costumes.
great. The
Costumes
costumes
are
are
great.
great. The dance is great.
I will say the cutest Martha of the season for me is maid outfit Martha.
Wow. I'm still Lazarus Pit.
Because I'm a bit of a sick guy. You think I'm a pretty sick guy.
I'd give this episode a 9 out of 10. I really like this one.
I'd probably go as low as a 7.
Wow. All right. Well,
but then I'd probably give this second part a 9 or a 10.
Let's scooch over to Family of Blood then. It starts in the dance.
Yeah.
The kid opens the watch, distracts them. Martha takes one of them hostage. Once again, proving Martha is kind of capable by herself, even if she never would have actually shot them.
Do they fix this one with the watch again? I don't even know, because I feel like... Yeah. I don't even remember how the whole switcheroo Martha has a hostage thing happens.
Yeah, no, the kid opens the watch, they get distracted, and she takes a hostage.
Okay.
Yeah. So then they go back to the school. The schoolmaster's friend gets murdered. Cillian Murphy rips off one of the Scarecrow's arms, and he's sad.
He has a villain moment.
Yeah.
He's all like, we're going to kill you.
Yep.
Yeah. Bring me Mr. Smith.
The kids start crying.
When they're shooting the scarecrows.
Yep. And then they realize no one's there. And
I kind of thought that, like, wouldn't that be kind of fun?
Yeah. You'd think it'd be fun. Maybe we're just sick.
Yeah, but, like, at a kid that age, especially who, like, doesn't know much, I feel like that would just be fun.
Yeah, you'd think so. The kid is really annoying in this second part.
Yeah, it's just the fact that he just keeps running away.
Yeah. And I know you need that for the story.
Right.
But he, like, runs away from David Tennant at the start of the episode. He's like, I don't know. And then he runs away. You're like, what? What just happened?
Oh, yeah. He, like, sees the doctor as a scary man.
As a schizo man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically a lot of stuff happens in between, but it culminates in them...
Go on.
It culminates with them in the house of the little girl.
Yeah.
Her parents have been vaporized.
Right, assumedly.
Thanks, Paul. Very cool.
Very epic.
And we just get this tour de force performance from pretty much everyone. David Tennant does a really, really good job of selling you on this kind of melodramatic aspect. Martha's really great as like a support.
She's like, I love the doctor and he doesn't even see me, but I don't care.
Yeah.
And John Smith's love interest of the episode talks to him alone, sort of.
She's like, if I could do this for you, I would, but otherwise
she's
the whole
really
world's
good.
gonna die. Yeah, she's great.
I usually hate every female character because I hate women. I think they're terrible. But this one's like actually really smart and good.
Yeah, she's great.
Because I guess Cornell's just a good writer.
Yeah.
Great character writer.
Crazy. Bring him back.
Like
Matt Jones, Cornell, joint showrunner?
It's so interesting speaking about this episode from the current year perspective.
Yeah.
How it's like this character looked down on Martha, but it's like they don't even really make that a thing. They don't care.
Not at
it's
all,
like it just goes right back to her being in this period and still being intelligent for this period.
Right.
And sort of dishing it back to the doctor, being like, John Smith was braver than you are.
Right. Doctor gets a great like dunked on moment.
Yeah.
Which we haven't seen since Matt Jones wrote
Satan
a good
Pit,
one.
Yeah. Really good moment.
Yeah, and then the end of this episode is insane.
Yeah, he tricks them by making them think he's still a buffoon human, that he's giving them the watch that has his biology and his memories in it so that they can possess him. And I don't really know how that works. That's a little weird how it's like if his identity, if his self, his true self is hidden in the watch, but they don't have his, I guess they could use that.
I think it's similar to, again, kind of setting up the season arch, obviously with the chameleon arch.
Right.
But I think it's similar in the fact that they could use, it's like his genetics are in there.
Yeah, it's his like essence. It's still like him, his biology,
Right.
which that's what they need. His biology, his ability to regenerate. Because with the
chameleon is human.
right, he's mortal. We even get before he decides to turn back to the doctor. The moment with, I don't remember her name.
Joan, I think.
Joan?
Joan.
The love interest.
Yeah.
they both sort of see with the watch. They see a potential future
Right.
of if they just led a normal life, which is a nice bit.
Yeah. Better old age makeup than the finale, which is
Yeah,
kind of weird.
they actually make it look like genuine, like old Tenant.
Yeah.
And
he
it was
just
only
looks
for like half
Peter
a second.
Capaldi, yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. He has a good moment. He's like, "Is everyone safe?"
Mm-hmm.
His hypothetical children.
Yeah.
And then he goes and meets the family of
blood.
Yeah, and they think he's a.
And then he pushes all the buttons.
He pushes all the buttons. You shouldn't have let me push all those buttons.
And then he goes, "All right, time to die."
Blows up. Oh yeah, he blows up their ship and they're stuck. And then he goes
sicko mode.
He goes sicko mode. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he changed up the father in chains made from the heart of a dwarf star, throws the mother into a black hole.
Yeah, the event horizon of a black hole.
Traps the daughter in mirrors, apparently.
In a mirror, every mirror.
Every mirror.
I kind of wish they would have said mirror dimension. That would have been funny.
That would have been
if you ever see anything with a quarter of your eye in a mirror, it's her.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, the Cillian Murphy gets trapped in a scarecrow. Ironic.
He's time locked.
Cillian Murphy's in a scarecrow.
It's not Cillian Murphy.
This is the first, I guess we kind of got this in Runaway Bride,
right.
But this is the first, David Tennant
the doctor's
loses
wrath.
his shit.
Yeah.
Martha, very good in these episodes. She looks out for him, she takes care of him, and she gets no fucking thanks.
He thanks her and hugs her. He does. He says the words, "Thank you for looking after me." Thanks for not letting me abandon you, whatever.
Yeah, and then he gives the annoying kid the chameleon arch.
And he gets to, it's kind of the ending, like the very last couple scenes are a little bizarre. It's just it's just this kid. I mean, the big theme of these two episodes is that it's in 1913, so that the next year is going to be, it's going to be a dark shadow across Europe. They keep saying the whole world, but it's really just Western Europe.
It's Europe.
Anyway,
a dark shadow. Sounds similar to something the Toclafane say.
Yeah, and the kid is able to avoid him and his peer being killed in the war because he was able to look into the future. And then at the end, they they see him. I don't know what year that was. I doubt it was 2007, but
no, it was probably
80s,
late 90s maybe.
Yeah. Anyway,
But
the kid as a veteran, an old veteran, they salute him.
He gives him the Wilf salute.
These British take the World War I very seriously.
They do, yeah.
Yeah. But my favorite part of part 2, the family of blood, is the moment when the doctor comes back to Joan or whatever her name is as the doctor, and she gives it to him. She's like,
she dunks on him hard.
Yeah, she's like, John Smith is a braver man than you ever will be because
he died and you just changed.
Yeah, it's like you chose to change, he chose to die.
Yeah,
which is like, damn.
Yeah,
do be like that.
It's almost like Pete Tyler in Father's Day.
And he's like, come with me. He tries to groom her too, but it doesn't work, man. Because she's like, I was in love with John, not you.
Right. Every moment, it's like, oh, let's write another stupid Martha parallel because we gave her the dumb love story line.
Only this one is like better in one episode.
Yep.
Because Cornell, I guess, is just a wizard.
Yeah, him and Matt Jones. Yeah. They're holding the show together, and we'll never see them again.
Right. Cornell and Jones, please come back.
My notes here. Is this Dark City? I hate this kid. Really great score from Murray Gold. I hate this kid.
Mm-hmm.
The Doctor Forever. That's what ends this, is kind of David Tennant's new theme by Murray Gold, and it's very good.
He deals with the life and death of existence.
Mm-hmm. I would give this episode, hear me out, a 10 out of Tenant.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. And it's so good that it's followed by Blink.
Oh, man. Yeah, they just spoiled us. They got the shit episodes out of the way.
Like, get to put the Chibnall episode in.
Yeah, and then they spoil us.
So most people that I know consider Blink to be the best Doctor Who episode.
It's iconic. It's probably the most iconic.
I'm not of that opinion, but it's very, very good. It's very, very good. This is probably the smartest Moffat script because he
doesn't go
keeps
overboard.
it much more contained. Yeah,
goes with the idea and doesn't try to over-explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of keeps it vague, actually.
Yeah, so this episode introduces probably the most well-known monster from New Who, the Weeping Angels.
Yep.
And it's a concept so good, Stephen Moffat would go on to use it in every other monster he ever created.
Curse him. Curse him.
I like the silence, but they are just the Weeping Angels.
But a little different.
It's the exact same concept.
Well, it's
It's
instead
the
of
same
instead of
concept.
they instead
You
of
can't
they
change my mind.
instead of they kill you, it's you forget them.
Yeah.
So it's a little different.
Instead of they move, you forget them. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Just don't blink.
Right. It's a Dr. Light episode.
Yep.
So the only time we first see him is in the TV.
Yep.
Talking with half of the conversation.
Yep.
I think the characters that this episode actually follows, Sally Sparrow and her friend at the beginning,
Yep.
and her brother, friend's
Nightingale.
brother.
Yep.
They're all very good.
They're great. Yeah.
Yeah.
For once, Moffat writes characters.
I love the introduction of Doctor's message to Sally written beneath the wallpaper.
Mhm.
So good.
Yeah.
Doctor, they just like straight up imply that this Weeping Angel just tried to dome her
Yeah,
with a rock.
tried to throw a
That's
rock.
fucking hilarious. Guess he wasn't hungry.
Yeah. He just wanted to kill
He
Sally.
just domed her, or tried to. It's so great.
This episode takes a little while to warm up for me. I really like the opening, and then she goes to visit Kathy, and her brother's there naked, and all that is like a little slow for me. It doesn't really kick in until they're upstairs and the doorbell rings, and it's her grandson.
Well, they have to establish these characters.
Yeah, I get it.
So
But yeah, once that happens, it's like
we're going.
fantastic to the end.
Yeah.
We had mentioned this is one of the most cinematic, certainly in this season.
Yeah, it feels like a genuine movie.
Yeah, the pacing, the characters,
You get one
the way
soft
it's shot.
focus.
Yeah, yeah.
True Detective.
You get some True Detective, yeah. There's not a lot to say about this.
I'm glad they don't oversaturate it with the angels. You get,
Yeah.
I think, just the right amount,
I agree.
and sort of ups the ante when they have their scary expressions.
Mm-hmm.
I think their eyes are so scary. I think their actual just placid expression
Yeah,
with their
are much
eyes
spookier,
revealed
yeah.
than their like scary demon face.
Uh-huh.
Although that's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. It's such a good idea. We get some of the best quotes in this. Time. It's more like a sphere of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
That was a Tumblr one. That was a very popular one
Yeah, that's
in the
such
time.
That's such a fucking Moffat thing. It's
Yeah.
like I don't know.
Don't
Don't think. Whatever you do, don't think.
Just don't.
Think, and your dad.
Don't think about my script. Yeah.
Yeah, we get the angels have the phone box.
Mhm.
Got that on a T-shirt.
Love that bit.
And this is the first kind of bootstrap paradox. The Who wrote Beethoven's Fifth. Because how did the Doctor have the conversation for them to write it down? But if they gave it to him, and I love
Right.
that stuff. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Anything else to say? I mean, it's a classic.
Great concepts. Great characters. Performances.
Sally Sparrow would have been a good companion.
The fact that some of the Weeping Angels and like some of their moments where they change positions. The fact that those are actually people in full makeup
Right.
probably means this is the best makeup
Yes.
of the series
Yeah, I would entirely agree.
because of how much they look like statues.
Yeah, they really do.
Just genuinely.
And they did have some statues.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Yeah. The subtlety in the shots and the direction, because whenever you would have a camera panning around Sally, this is after she grabs the TARDIS key, whenever the camera passed by her,
it moved,
and there's and she's in the foreground, there's a angel in the background, and it came out on the other side of her, it would have moved. So it's like, you mentioned this while we watched it, it's great that for this character, or for this monster, they keep the concept, the idea of this monster true to the viewer.
Yes.
That it's like that they only move because they're monsters that like they are quantum locked
yeah.
whenever they are viewed by any living thing. The camera acts as a living thing because
Yes.
you are the viewer.
Because you're viewing them.
Yes.
And when you look away, they move.
You never see them move.
Right.
Which
is something he ruins later on, but we'll get to that.
Oh, Moffat.
We'll get to that. The Moth.
Oh.
The Moth.
Yeah.
Damn, he really did just come in and write all the fucking best episodes, I swear.
Classics.
But yeah, I'd give this...
Should have never been showrunner.
I'd give this 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
This is also the second all-time classic.
Yep.
Yeah. My notes here, Moffat's best time play, ? Yes, it is. It is, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. SCP?
It's an SCP.
It's an SCP. 60s Martha? Yeah.
No. Not doing
It's
it.
because she's got the hair down. It's all about the hair.
I agree, but it just wasn't doing it for me.
Damn, Stephen Moffat for showrunner?
You'll regret it.
Doctor is Magic 8 Ball? Maybe.
Yeah.
Ask later.
Seems that way.
Wibbly wobbly? Well, 4 things and a lizard. And then whatever you do,
Quirky.
Don't think.
Yeah,
Don't think. Think and you're dead.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, the moment, I remember the first time watching this as a young tyke, the moment that the recording, it's like the doctor is your comfort pillow.
Yeah.
Because he always knows what's going on.
Right.
And he can handle any situation. But the fact that he's not there and you're with these strangers, these very mortal strangers, and the moment the recording of his advice to them ends, they're on their own. He even says it. It's like, you're on your own. That's the end of the transcript. And it's like scary because then neither of them are looking at the angel and it comes in for the attack.
It does, yeah.
And then they move to the basement, of course.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's the great bit where the TARDIS fades away and they're all looking at each other.
The music, it's not outstanding, but it does do
it
does a good job at aiding the tension.
Mm-hmm. And I guess we'll have to see how this works. My understanding from my memory of Daleks in Manhattan is you're locked as well when you go back in time. That's why the Doctor can't go back and save those people. But they send the box back to him, so I don't know if that's because he's there so he can leave.
Yeah.
I don't know if they explain it or not.
He never got...
No, they got touched.
They did.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's just like a retcon later on, or if they explain it. We'll see.
I don't think they explain it in this. I think they wait till the Amy and Rory plot where you can't be moved.
That might be it.
You can't be saved if you get in touch.
A retcon.
Yeah. They didn't. That wasn't a thing. I guess the Doctor just didn't want to bring these people back.
Yeah, and it might be that
probably
because he went back with Martha.
Yeah.
He could leave.
Yeah.
Whereas Amy and Rory, that's not the case.
Well, and with these people with Nightingale and the
right, he wouldn't get the box if he saved them because they sent Sally stuff.
Yep, it's all like set timeline aspects.
Yeah. Anyways, after that, we go to the only official 3-part finale of the revival, and the first part is Utopia. Utopia.
I like Utopia better than both the final episodes, the final 2.
That's reasonable. I think I told you this while watching it. I have no fucking recollection of this episode. I don't know.
That's strange to me because I definitely
is.
remember this one.
Did I skip it? I don't. I have no idea.
It's like it's weird. It's like not the. It's actually probably the least important of the 3, plot wise.
Yes.
Only the end is the important part.
Really, yeah.
But I enjoy it more just as as a contained episode.
Yeah, I think it is a very good episode.
And
I don't know why I've just wiped it from my memory.
It starts with them coming back to it's Cardiff, right?
Yes.
To refuel at the schism.
The schism that Mark Gatiss created.
Right.
The Gatiss schism.
The TARDIS refueling at the schism in Cardiff. And we get...
got that on a t-shirt.
We get the reintroduction of Jack Harkness.
Yep.
This is the first time we see him again since Tenant.
Yeah. if
or since
part
since
of the
he
ways,
yeah.
And if you watch Torchwood, you would know the episode before this, the finale for Torchwood. He hears the TARDIS sound and he starts running. So that's what he's been doing. Don't watch Torchwood.
Doesn't
Please
matter.
to God, don't watch
Doesn't
Torchwood.
matter. Don't do it.
But yeah, he jumps on, rides through the time vortex. Davies has said it was a huge missed opportunity to not put him in the title sequence just on the
Oh
side
yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah.
TARDIS.
Yeah, he's inside he's on the TARDIS.
Yeah, and it's really funny just how angry David Tennant is at him.
This whole episode he's like, because he does explain it. He's like, it's my instinct as a
Yeah.
Time Lord. You're wrong. You're not supposed to be immortal. But at the
Right.
same time, it's funny because you can't control it.
Right.
It was Rose.
I know, and yeah, you see it at the start when he sees Jack running, and he's like, "Go, go, go!"
Yeah, he's like, get out of here. Of course, Jack survives the time vortex only because he's immortal.
Yeah,
and comes back and flirts with Martha. Flirts with anything that moves.
Yep, much like the Doctor himself, the TARDIS feels that Jack is wrong, so it tries to shake him off by traveling to the end of time.
And well, it's like I kind of hate that explanation. It's like just because of Jack. It's like because it plays into the idea of fate. Like I know it's obviously a show written by people, so things have to happen, things have to align.
Yeah.
But it's like if you look at it just within the context of this made-up world, it sort of plays into the idea of fate because fate in the sense that Jack incites the TARDIS to go to the end of time.
Yep.
And then at the end of time, what is at the end of time? The Master.
Right.
And his community of humans that he turns into his army to take over the world in the past.
Yep.
So it's like, and he steals the TARDIS and makes a paradox machine. So it's like it's like fated.
Mm-hmm. And there's a quote by Davies that he said he struggled for months while writing Series 3 to explain why they went to the end of time. And so
he just threw in Jack.
Yeah. No, well, Jack was always there.
Well,
and
right,
it's like,
but he
okay,
just,
so
like,
maybe it's the TARDIS has the same reaction.
Right.
So it's trying to shake him off.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I don't mind it. I think
Yeah.
it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. The civilization on this planet is really cool, though. I like the almost Lovecraft ancient ruins.
It's very Satan Pit-esque.
It is.
But it was just the assistant
It was the
to the master.
organization, civilization.
Yeah, their species. That it was their planet.
Yep.
And she's the last of her kind.
Yep.
Assistant to master. And then there's the future kind.
Future kind, yep.
Yeah.
The cannibal vampire virus people.
So I mistakenly thought that it was like a virus. I mistakenly thought that it was something that you could turn into.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I actually rewatching it. It's just the writing kind of led me to believe it that way the first time I watched it, but I just misunderstood. It was just that these are just another kinds of people that exist at this time with these normal people.
It's kind of lending into the series themes. That's like what humanity will evolve into eventually.
Right. They are just Mad Max marauders.
Yeah,
They are just like they have face tattoos and leather.
In every post-apocalypse,
It's funny.
humanity becomes Mad Max.
It's ridiculous, but it's good.
Yeah, I quite like the future kind.
Yeah.
They're
Funny.
They're good. They're good.
They're like stylish cannibals.
Mm-hmm. I would really, really love this episode if it wasn't for one like super minute detail.
It's always what it is with you.
Yeah, I know. And it's the PTSD master flashbacks where they just say they're like, oh, he's on a new regeneration, and then the camera will just zoom in on Jacoby, and he's like,
Yeah.
and he has like a freak out.
But yeah.
No, like it's fine, but it just comes off as way too silly to me.
I don't get that.
It's whatever.
They don't even use the sound of drums tune that aggressively in those scenes. Actually, you mostly
it's pretty subtle. Yeah.
Yeah, you mostly just hear the dialogue with the echo effect on it.
It just comes off as silly to me. It doesn't ruin the episode at all.
Because I just watched New Who. I especially hadn't seen any classic Who back at the time I first watched New Who, so I didn't know who the Master was.
Right.
So it was very intriguing to me, a newbie, being like, "Oh, what's this guy's deal?" Like, And of course, he's a Time Lord.
Yeah, and the mystery of this episode plays out very, very well. Martha finds the chameleon arch, his watch.
It's a good build-up.
Martha says, "Doctor, he's got a fob watch like you." And the doctor says, "Shut up, Martha. I never pay attention to you. I hate you. Shut up, Martha. You're wrong. You're an idiot. I hate you."
Well, he gets really mad.
Yeah.
Not at Martha, just he gets really mad.
At first at Martha, he's like, "I don't believe you. You're the lying bitch."
Yeah, that's a direct quote.
Yeah.
Well, prior to that, I just wanted to say I like the whole Jack fucks with the nuclear whatever thing because the room has become uninhabitable to mortals, but he's very conveniently, again, it's like fated to be.
Mm-hmm. And the set-offs and payoffs are fantastic too, because right before that, he puts the wires together, and we see that he can't die.
Right.
Then he goes and does that, and then the Master uses those wires to kill people at the end.
Yeah.
So it all wraps together really well.
Yeah. And while he is in that like irradiated room with the nuclear power sources, that's where you get the moment with him and the doctor being like, "You're wrong."
Yeah.
But then they kind of make up. I don't know.
Yeah. He says, "You're a fixed point, which no person should ever be. You're like a fact."
A fact, yeah. And then he's like, "This newer generation, it's cheeky." And then we cut back to the Master. He's like, regeneration. Yeah, good stuff.
The last 20 minutes of this episode is incredibly fantastic.
I think it's great. It's awesome.
Just the tension and the atmosphere, and it just keeps ramping up and ramping up.
This is the peak of the theme. We get it right from the Doctor about how the human species is indomitable.
Yeah.
Indomitable. The indomitable snowman. That here they are at the end of time, still trying to escape to something greater, if imagined.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's really good.
Turns out to be
Death. Doctor fixes the rocket. The Master has his schizo moment and opens up the watch. We get the Yana reveal, which is probably the worst part of this episode.
They didn't need to do that. They could have just. I mean, I'm okay with them cutting back to the face of Bo saying you are not alone.
Right,
I'm
that's
okay
fine.
with that. But the Yana thing.
Yeah.
Why? You didn't need to do that. Do you really think so little of your viewers?
Yeah, I love the comparison because Davies is like throwing a million flashbacks, and then Moffat's like, "Nah, fuck him."
There's this really obscure thing in the earlier seasons where.
Yeah, I don't like Chantho all that much. I find her kind of annoying.
I think she's pretty cute.
I really like how heavy into the continuity this finale is, because we get the hand from
the
Christmas
hand.
Invasion.
Yep.
It turns out that the power vacuum from Harriet Jones is what allows Harold Saxon to run. Oh, David's dead. We get parting of the ways, Jack coming back and actually having consequences for that. And it's almost like the Doctor's actions have consequences, because the reason the Master shows up is it's his fault, essentially. He kicks out Harriet Jones. He loses his hand.
Well, that wasn't.
But it's an effect, you know.
Skipping to last episode of the season, just because I don't want to forget to mention this when we get there. I like how the Master has a little bit. He captures Martha and he's like, "You used to have companions that could, absorb the time vortex."
Yep.
It's like Martha Jones,
How would he know that?
I don't know. He tortured Jack. Maybe he told some stories.
Sure, yeah, fine.
Jack knows everything.
That's true. He turns into a giant head.
Yeah, he's the face of Bo.
Yeah, sure, yeah. But yeah, back to Utopia. The Master opens his watch, becomes the Master, kills Chantho, takes the Utopia plans from this ship's computer. Chantho shoots him. He lets the future kind in, and then he goes into the TARDIS. Doctor makes it there. Doctor locks the controls, and then he leaves.
He regenerates too.
Yeah. Regenerate!
I like his actor.
Yeah. A lot of people don't like John Sims' Master because he's a little too unhinged. I think he's great. I think he fits this really well.
He's a good foil to, arch nemesis to the Doctor. I think to Tenant Doctor.
He's a really good foil to Tenant Doctor, yeah.
Yeah, he's basically just the opposite.
Yeah, and Jacoby's really good too as Yana and the Master for 2 seconds.
Yep. Yeah, he was really good. It was just Ian Holm.
Yeah, it was just Ian Holm, yeah. I got some notes here. What if it were Elton instead of Jack that jumped onto the TARDIS as they left?
Why? What made you think of that?
I don't know.
You just miss Elton.
Bring back Elton. She was a blonde. Of course she was a blonde.
Martha.
Because her dad, if you remember, her dad left her mom for a blonde, so she's got some pent-up backstory there.
I don't think the dad left. He probably left and then found the girlfriend.
Yeah, but she still doesn't like the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Still works. This season be using green. So true.
We've stepped up.
So true. Hermits United. There's a good little line about that. Nice Martha parallel again, Davies, you fucking hack. Spacesuit's not looking too good. Schizo moment. The flashbacks. Doctor once again mistreating Martha, and Yana is dumb.
Oh yeah, the Martha parallel is with the Master's assistant
Chantha,
loving him, but he doesn't notice her because he's autistic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
cares more about making wires out of
Food.
glucose,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't remember this episode. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I would give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I think it is infinitely more competent than the last 2 episodes. I think the last 2 episodes are kind of
Yes, I would agree. This
retarded.
This is definitely the best written. Everything fits together really well.
Don't get me wrong. I like this season, and I think the season finale is fine. But it is, like, sobering up for a moment. It is kind of retarded.
Oh, yeah.
It is kind of retarded in a sci-fi, retarded Doctor Who way.
Yes, it is.
Also, you're probably going to have to bleep out how many times I say retarded.
Hey, retarded ain't bad. That's what this is.
That's what we're here for. Because we're retarded, okay?
Exactly, yeah. It's us.
To like this
You
stupid
have to.
show.
You have to be. It's a requirement. Yeah, so the next episode, second part in the finale, is The Sound of Drums. I appreciate this episode because it tries to do kind of a political thriller type deal. Is it successful? Questionable.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think the Master, of course, carries it.
He does, yeah. I love when he's sitting there with his gas mask, just like tapping the thing as everyone dies.
Kills Parliament. Pretty epic.
Pretty epic, yeah.
Master based. I'm a big fan of this Master.
I like this Master quite a bit,
Yeah.
We are introduced to the Archangel Network. He's basically just doing Cybus again.
Yeah, the Archangel, that's just like a phone plan. Not a phone plan,
It's a bunch of satellites
Yeah.
that have taken over. It's not made super clear. Taken over, I guess, wireless connections, and their broadcasting is.
Okay, I think I might be coming around on the whole everyone thinking of the Doctor at the same time thing.
Good.
We'll
Good.
get
We'll
there,
get
we'll
there.
get there,
Good.
we'll get there.
I'm glad.
Slowly.
There's a really cool concept. It was introduced back in Human Nature, the perception filter they put on the
Yep.
TARDIS key.
Those are what they have on the watches, so that they don't open it and become themselves too early.
Yeah, and the Doctor has one of the worst lines ever when he's talking to Martha about it, and he's like, "It's like when you fancy someone and they don't even know you exist." And you're like, "Okay, too far,
And Martha
too
kills
far."
herself.
Yeah, she just jumps out the window.
Yeah.
They're watching the TV, and the Master goes, "And medical students," and then there's a giant.
Oh my
Batman
god,
bomb.
what? Okay, that is such a fucking stupid. They just like, why? Why would they think they turn around the TV? There's a big like plastic Batman prop, like Adam West Batman prop TNT bomb. It's like fucking huge. Why? It's funny though.
It's good.
It's
yeah.
really
I like
funny.
it, yeah.
And then immediately her family's being taken.
Yep. Yeah, and we get some Martha agency in this one. It'll be much more in the next one. Yeah, the United States, as they do, comes to assume power from the British people.
Yep.
They get on the Marvel helicarrier.
Yeah, Doctor Who did it first.
Yeah,
Marvel
did
stealing.
it better. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool
Sound of Drums
helic
is better than Endgame.
carrier, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's implied the Master designed the helicarrier because he was the leader of the Department of Defense before he ran for Prime Minister. I like how they do the blink thing again, almost like the one thing that ties this into the season, where in the opening it zooms in on the TV and the Master's like, "Someone needs a doctor," and it's like when he was like, "Don't blink, whatever you do."
I think that's you just being schizophrenic.
I think that's me desperately trying to connect the one episode that doesn't connect to the series arc.
That episode could have been any season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely could. Yeah.
So in a way, that episode isn't necessary.
No, it's
other
not.
than the fact that it's very good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
read the notes?
Okay. So by the end of it, that's they already turn him into old Doctor, right?
Yes.
They
Yep.
turn him into old man Doctor, 100 years.
They
The Master does that.
Yep.
Is that the pop song?
We'll get there. It's in the notes. Don't
Okay.
worry. Here's my notes.
Okay.
The Master is Russell T Davies. It's the writer's room with Matt Jones and Paul Cornell. He's doing his drum thing as he kills them all. Master's wife, very cute.
God.
Very cute.
Wow. Holy moly.
The Adam West bomb. The perfect dissolve where the Master's looking out the shades and it dissolves into Martha walking. It's really good. Cybus Network again.
Yep.
The Willy Wonka
Davies
lever.
not being able to do. It's just like a different version of the same arc every time.
And he didn't even write Age of Steel, I don't think.
Oh.
Maybe he did. I don't know. Willy Wonka lever. Here Come the Drums, Voodoo Child. Tone fucking shattered.
Yeah, the tone of that. That is the reveal of the Toclafane, because the whole thing is the Master is like, he's the new Prime Minister, and he's made contact, and he kills Parliament, and he is assuming control, even though America comes in, they're like, yo, don't do that. The president gets assassinated by the Toclafane, and they're his, like, army.
Yeah, and apparently that's not undone when they destroy the Paradox Machine.
We'll get there. I have plenty to shit on of the next episode. This one isn't as egregious. Like I'm saying, okay.
It's not as dumb, no.
Here's the yeah, it's not as stupid. Here's the thing. I like, what is it called?
Last of the Time Lords.
I like The Last of the Time Lord better than Sound of Drums.
Yes, me as well.
And yet at the same time, Sound of Drums is less retarded.
Yes. Yes.
Both can be true.
Yeah. And the big problem with Sound of Drums is its tone is very inconsistent.
Yeah, it really is. It can't decide if it's like dark comedy or just actual like serious.
Mm-hmm. And there's a good bit where Martha calls her brother, and the Master takes over the phone lines, kind of taunts her, and then he talks to the Doctor. Yeah, it's a decent episode. My last note is Star Wars, because Star Wars music plays at the end as the
For half a
Toclafane.
second when they like descend up on the Earth.
Yeah.
I actually really like the effect they had of the Toclafane swarms
Yeah.
going around doing their thing, because it just looked really good. It looked very threatening and like unrelenting, unstoppable, because
Yeah.
it's just these killing orbs in the millions.
And it's really good stakes, because this Utopia ended, and you went, oh shit, the Doctor lost.
Yeah.
And then this episode ends.
It's like, it got worse.
He's old. The
Yeah,
Toclafane
this is
invaded,
why I love the
TARDIS
Master.
is gone.
I love the Master because he like takes the one thing the Tumblr fans had and he ruins Tenant. He makes Tenant ugly and old, and it's epic. He's kind of just like the Joker to Batman, basically. The Batman, the Doctor.
We kill the Doctor.
They're like ultimate good, but will also like do what must be necessary.
Yes.
And then the Joker is just kind of chaotic, like the Master. They're just like chaotic evil versus like a lawful good, but it's like lawful good to a fault. Anyways,
neutral good. Yeah,
neutral good. Will do what's necessary, even if it's like taboo.
Right.
But still righteous.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then
except when
the
he has
Joker
those ego death moments.
Yeah, and then the Joker and the Master are just like insane.
Yeah.
Which is very entertaining.
Like John Sam Master.
I like his plot line, his ideas. In this, it's just like take everyone from the future, turn them into killing machines to kill everyone in the past and enslave and destroy the universe. He's just nuts.
And that's we won't get this till the last of the Time Lords, but that's something. That's such a twisted fucking Davies thing there.
Yeah, and then I think it's even worse in the one. This is skipping ahead, but it's like. His next plotline when he returns is just he turns everyone on Earth into himself. Like that's insane. Yeah. Like that's just batshit crazy.
Yeah.
But it's really like entertaining and sick.
Yeah. And I really love the Toclafane because the whole season has been like humanity has endured, it will always endure, and then Davies is just like nope, all of humanity's fucking dead.
Yep.
And you're like, oh.
Yeah, because of the Master.
Russell. Okay, cool.
And not only are they dead, well, it's like they're not even dead. They're
in
killing machines.
Torment, and they're.
But the thing is, he makes them like it.
Yeah.
Because they like you said, their mentality is like reverted to children.
Yeah.
And but they like have been programmed to enjoy killing.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're like just as insane as him.
Davies is a sick man.
He's a sick man. Moffat's like, they kill them kindly. They still get to live full lives.
No one can die. Everyone has to live just this once, Rose.
Yeah. And then Davies is like, fucking fat people, kill them.
Kill them. This might surprise you, but I would give Sound of Drums an 8 out of 10. It is really fucking stupid, but
I don't argue that. I think, like I said, I think it's less stupid. I don't like it as much. For a few reasons.
Yeah.
But that's just a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's much more competent. Again, I would probably rank it like in levels of competency, like Utopia, Sound of Drums, Last of the Time Lords. But I still enjoyed Last of the Time Lords more than Sound of Drums.
Yeah, so Sound of Drums ends with Martha getting a message from the doctor and then teleporting off of...
And the rest of her family and Jack are enslaved like the doctor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, then the plot line mostly for first 2/3 of Last of the Time Lords is that Martha is...
It's a year in advance.
Yeah, it's been a year, yeah. She's traveling the world. She is using a scam of collecting pieces to a gun.
I'm so glad that wasn't real.
Yeah.
Because that would actually just be like video game logic plot.
Dumb, yeah. But yeah, her actual mission is she's like fostering hope among people.
Here's my problem with that.
Go ahead.
They could have done that so much better. I wouldn't think it's so stupid if they just gave you some actual footage. They gave you some actual filming that made it feel like she traveled the world.
Yes, okay.
Instead, they just throw in 5 lines and the same shot of her in a stairwell talking to the same people twice.
No, the budget definitely shows here, I think.
Yeah.
But as an idea, I like it. It shows Martha has grown.
Yeah.
It shows she's learned stuff from her voyage with the doctor. It shows that she is competent on her own. She is essentially the one who saves the day in this one. Until Space Jesus is summoned. And the political thriller aspect continues a little bit in this, not too much. The Master turns the Doctor into Dobby.
Whenever I see it in execution, it's like, but then when I just think back to it, it's the funniest shit.
Yeah, it's good. And actually, at first, the CGI on that looks really good, and then it just deteriorates over the episode.
I think it kind of just stays static.
Yeah.
I think it just it's the same every time you see it.
But basically, one of the scientists that helped Martha discover the Toclafane, what they are, turns her in.
But she knew that would happen.
Yeah.
She did that purposely so she could get...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the guy runs out and tries to shoot the Master and immediately dies.
My gosh. Probably... I don't know. The thing... why I think this episode is so stupid
It's really dumb.
is because it has so many bad parts like that. They don't fully flesh out the feeling that Martha has been traveling the world for a year preaching the gospel of the Doctor. They don't make it feel that way. They don't establish that well.
I don't blame them for that, though, because I think that is a budgetary thing. So I can let that slide.
You could have gotten more shots of her talking to people in the room. That doesn't take a lot of money.
It might be time as well. Who
Right.
knows?
And then you get this guy that like is helping her.
Mm-hmm. He looks like every other British man we've seen.
That moment, it is seared into my mind because of how stupid it is. He runs out screaming, "No!" when Martha's about to get kidnapped by the master, shooting his gun, and just immediately dies. It's so corny. It's so bad.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I think it's funny and stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Martha goes up to the ship after the failed coup from her family that went nowhere.
Yeah, because the laser screwdriver had isometric controls.
Yeah, exactly. The laser screwdriver is kind of dumb, but it sets up
anti-Doctor.
Exactly. It sets up the parallel.
Yeah, he's the evil Doctor. So what is it? It's just a laser. What is a laser screwdriver? What does that even mean? And it can also age him rapidly. Oh yeah, it's because he had the hand.
Has the hand.
Yeah, he has his biological code.
Exactly. It is set up. Yeah.
And we didn't really talk about it. The paradox machine, the TARDIS can only, like, because of the Doctor, what he did to the TARDIS, it can only travel between the end of the world and or the end of the universe, I mean.
Yeah.
And that, like, time in 2007 after he's the prime minister or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he's able to use the TARDIS as a, like, power source so that the humans from the future can kill
the
and
humans
do
from now
without creating
paradox,
without breaking the universe.
Yep. So then Martha.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I
thought it was dumber than it was.
I like the corrupted TARDIS design.
Yeah, it's just red.
Yeah, red and has a cage.
Yep.
And Jack shoots it.
Yep.
The real hero is Jack. He shoots it. Everything gets reversed.
Yeah, exactly.
Case closed.
Case closed. So everyone thinks of the Doctor when the countdown hits 0. It is dumb. I will give you it's dumb, but I like the theme, so I'll let it slide. I like the idea that words and names have
Here's
power,
the thing.
and it was set up.
I don't agree. I completely disagree with you. The only thing that gets me coming around on it is the whole satellite radiology, sort of like the way the Master got people to like him and vote for him before he turned evil or revealed his psychopathy, is sort of this psychic, like,
it's a psychic
signal.
link,
Yeah, this signal that is constantly broadcasted to his drums.
Yep.
And that's how he got people to, like, sort of be mesmerized by him.
Yes.
If they sort of went into that and, like, Martha mentions for half a second that it's like, oh, you know, everybody in the world and 15 satellites, but it's like, but that doesn't mean anything. You didn't go into it enough.
Well, she does say the Archangel Network.
But they just say they use it. How? How did they use it? If they went into it a little bit more, I would think it's less stupid. But that's the only way you're going to get me on board. I'm sorry, but the power of words thing, as much as I like that concept as well, I don't think that's being used here.
Right, and I think
it's being used, like, by proxy, but I don't think it's being used in the sense that it's connecting back to the Shakespeare episode, Sherlock, the Shakespeare episode. Like, if they mentioned the Shakespeare episode, then I would agree, but I don't agree because they don't mention it.
Right, and I think it's more the Shakespeare Code set up that this is something in the Doctor Who universe that. They use names as power, yeah.
I guess.
They use words as power.
But it's the fact that they also sort of throw in the Archangel Network for half a second in there as being a factor.
It's also implied that this is, like, a very, very old thing, because back in Shakespeare Code, he says the Carrier Knights are, like, from the dawn of time or whatever, and they've been banished, and the only reason they can come back is because of Shakespeare's, like, words. He is such a word. It's dumb.
I'm usually against flashbacks, but if that's the case, I kind of wish they would have used one there, because I think that would have actually aided them. The whole stuff, all the other flashbacks, the Yana stuff, that's stupid and unnecessary.
Yes.
You don't need those flashbacks. if you were going to do something like that, connecting those two things, those two concepts, I wouldn't have minded one.
Yeah, well, I think it's not directly connected. It's more that Shakespeare Code set up that this is something in the universe, so that it's not just a random
It's
thing
just
when they
so
use it later.
contained. It's just so contained that it still feels random to me.
Yeah, and that's reasonable. It's basically the Archangel Network, as you mentioned, is like a psychic link, like the Ood psychic
It's
link.
like a psychic feel. It's a broadcast. It's like a subconscious broadcast.
Yeah.
And I think that is my explanation rather than the power of words. As much as I like that concept, I think that's less apparent here, unless they would have hammered it home with a flashback or something. I think that's less apparent here, and that's more about this Archangel Network as the explanation. But they don't delve into that either, like very much.
Right,
They
they
just
don't,
use
no.
they just use the words 15 satellites,
Yes.
Archangel Network. They don't explain how everybody thinking about the Doctor at the same time gets him to revert from Dobby to Space Jesus, and he's fucking like air
He's ski
skateboards.
posing, yeah.
He's air skateboards over to the Master, and the Master has a breakdown and goes future. It's probably one of the stupidest moments I have ever seen.
I'm against you on this, but that's fine, whatever.
It's just so silly.
People always say that. They always say this episode's really
I used to
dumb
like it
because of
though.
that.
No, I used to like it, and now I think it's dumb.
That's funny because I used to not like it, and now I'm like, no, they've set it up and it's fine.
They didn't set shit. Okay, we're just gonna have to
It's
disagree.
just gonna be back and forth forever. Yeah. But basically, the Master teleports away, then he teleports back. They blow up the paradox machine, so everything reverts back. His super hot wife shoots him.
Yeah, you at first didn't like. Well, I don't know. You might still not, but when we watched it, you were like, you didn't like the idea that it just kind of reverts.
I had forgotten the paradox machine.
Right. In the case of there being this paradox machine being destroyed, it actually makes sense
Yes.
that everything just goes back to how it was. But what doesn't fucking make sense is that the president is
He's
dead.
still dead,
Because he got killed by the Taclophane. So
did, yeah.
how would he get... Anyway, yeah.
We'll just have to forget that. Sweep it under the rug.
Davy's like, somebody has to die.
Yeah, Moffat's like, no one can die. Davy's like, kill them all. You gotta kill everyone.
The president.
But yeah, Master starts dying, and he's so stubborn that he refuses to regenerate.
It's a good moment.
It is a
I
good
really
moment.
like that moment. These are the reasons why I like The Last of the Time Lords better than Sound of Drums, though I think it's a less competent episode, like technical wise, because you have these moments with the Doctor. He's like,
Regenerate!
he forgives the Master, and because it's the only other Time Lord that is in existence now.
Right. As if the Space Jesus parallels aren't clear enough, he goes, I forgive you.
Yeah,
Right after he's been metaphorically crucified.
yeah.
He burns the Master's body. Martha decides to leave. I really like her exit up until she turns back and gives him the whole like unrequited love speech. I don't hate it. It does show that she's grown and like learned to go on without the Doctor. But that storyline really fucking lets down Martha in my mind.
Well, like we said, for Smith and Jones, it's like, of course she falls in love with him.
No, I understand it, but yeah, the way they write it could have been better.
I think it's as good as it could have gotten.
Yeah.
I mean, they do kind of hammer you over the head with it,
Yeah.
a little bit, but
Martha leaves. She joins Torchwood, which you can watch if you want to, but please don't.
Yeah, and
and
Jack-
she'll come back a couple of times.
Jack says his nickname was the Face of Bo. So
Yeah, that's dumb. Yeah.
you think so? Yeah, that is a little schizo.
Yeah. Martha comes back 3 more times. So we can talk about more of that then, but let's read the notes here. I forgot about this. My first note is wheelchair push.
Yeah, I love the bits of the Master messing with old Tenant. He just pushes him in the wheelchair, and then when he broadcasts him, he's like, say hello, Gandalf.
Yep.
It's like, it's funny. It's good.
The endless flashbacks return, which is a problem I have
Unnecessary.
as well.
No,
yeah.
I agree. They're unnecessary.
The Murray Gold theme here is really good. As he's coming back, I think it's Doctor Forever maybe, but it's like, oh
Yeah.
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 Yeah, T-pose. The color grading just decides to disappear when they teleport down to Earth, and it's like almost black and white. It's very bizarre.
Yeah, what the heck?
I don't know what happened. Yeah.
What happened?
This is Gallifrey.
They must have shot those like before a lot of the other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Or they just ran out of time. They're like, it looks good enough. Render. This is Gallifrey, our childhood, our home. Just a better Doomsday.
We kind of missed the whole motivation of the Master. You say it kind of conflicts with Classic Who, and I can definitely see that. But, I mean, what is New Who if not just one big retcon?
No, they just keep retconning, and that's fine.
So I like the idea that, so sort of a rite of passage for Time Lords, they established this, that they look into like a gap in time,
schism.
the untempered schism, basically the time vortex.
Yes.
You stare into it directly, unfiltered, and it's like that's your rite of passage as a Time Lord. And Doctor says, it makes some people go mad, and it makes the Doctor or the Master go mad, and that's where the drums started.
Right.
The drums are, I think, an interesting concept because they sort of represent just like madness itself and just the infinite.
Yes.
And Master can't handle it.
Yeah, and that's understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, this is Gallifrey, our childhood, our home. Might be my favorite Murray Gold track so far. Might just be my favorite overall. We'll see.
That's the first time in New Who you get to see
Gallifrey
an actual
as well,
visual of Gallifrey.
And it's rendered very well.
It's really pretty.
Yeah. And then finally, what?
What?
As the Titanic once again interrupts the finale.
I'm kind of okay with them not showing you what that would look like from the outside.
Yeah.
But it does like bring up the question. What would that look like?
What does that look like?
Yeah.
Because it should just be like the bottom of it, right? Because it hit the box, but it's the whole thing. It's so weird.
It's
like
just
the
it's like
physics
the
of that
whole
make no
bigger
sense.
Time Lord technology bigger on the inside stuff is like has a lot of implications.
Yeah.
Vacuums in our background. We don't care. You think we
We're
care?
professionals? What?
Yeah.
Serious? Where'd my notes go? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'd give Last of the Time Lords an 8 out of 10 as well.
I'll submit.
Do we want to do series episodes ranks before I present a 2-hour case as to why Martha's the better companion?
Yeah, go ahead. You're the ranking guy. I just kind of go off feeling vibe.
Right. Yeah, we spent
Less
we watched me have a
numbers.
mental breakdown when I couldn't figure out where to put something.
I mean, I can usually do the worst and the best episodes of the season.
Yeah,
and
and
the
I think
best
ours are
would be
tied.
Blink,
Yeah.
and the worst would be 42.
Yeah,
But that's
okay.
like really apparent.
Yeah. So my ranking would be Blink,
Yeah.
obviously, Family of Blood,
Okay.
Human Nature, Last of the Time Lords, Utopia, Smith and Jones, Gridlock, Sound of the Drums, Shakespeare Code, Daleks in Manhattan, Runaway Bride, Evolution of the Daleks, Lazarus Experiment, 42.
That's pretty good. I don't really have a problem with any of those.
Yeah, and like last season, my average was a 6.5. What I would actually give this is probably a 9 out of 10. I really, really like this.
Yeah,
series.
as a whole, just looking back on it, it leaves a good taste in your mouth.
It does. Like I said, this I think is easily my favorite Davies arc. It fits together the best. It uses the continuity. It uses themes that connect the episodes, even when they're not good.
I almost disagree. It's like again, I think this is overall a great season. It is by far a better season than 2.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to like the finale because of how stupid it is. And
Really?
I don't think the arc is the themes, that's a different conversation. Those are great. But I think the whole Saxon thing, it's uninspired.
Really?
Yeah. I like the reintroduction of the Master at the end of the world, or
Yes.
I keep saying world, universe.
And the end of time, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I like all of that, but I don't think it's anything all that special. I don't think it's anything all that like original.
Really?
Yeah.
I think this is the closest, in my mind, Davies gets to Moffat arcs. And as stupid and dumb as they are, I love the Moffat arcs because they're imaginative.
I will say it does set it apart. It sets itself apart from the rest of the Davies arcs. It is different in that sense, but just kind of like when I say it's uninspired, I'm just kind of looking at it in itself. I don't know. I don't think you'll really understand unless you were in my brain. I'm a sick guy.
Yeah,
I'm a pretty sick guy.
You must think I'm a sick guy. I also really like this finale. This is the one Davies finale that doesn't have Daleks, which I think is a huge plus.
I think what it is I like the other Master arc, the other Master finale better.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember hating that, but
really.
We'll see.
I like, from what I remember, I like that better. I like the end of Tenant. I like that he's just alone.
Yeah, he is.
This Doctor arguably suffers the most.
Yeah, he has.
Visually, I mean, it's all the same person. It's all the same.
Right.
It is all the Doctor.
Right.
But just while he's Tenant, I think you see the most suffering.
Right, and he's the one who made the most relations, was the most like human and connected, and yeah, he ends
Gregarious.
up just alone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really like that. And it's just like alone. It's him and the Master, and him having to deal with the Master again, and he has to give himself up, that version of himself up, because of another person's mistake. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, exactly. I remember.
That's just why I like it better.
I remember really not liking the end of time, so we'll see how that plays out. That's gonna be another back and forth argument.
Yeah. By the end of this rewatch, we're gonna kill each other.
Hate everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except Heaven Sent.
Oh yeah. We'll get to Heaven Sent. It'll be very. Like before, everything surrounding that is just like monkeys flinging poo, and then we'll get to that. Like, we're very cordial.
Yeah, we'll all be dressed in suits.
Yeah.
Using $10 words.
Yeah.
No, so I think I love Series 3's arc. I think it's easily my favorite Davies arc. Series 2, for me, has the worst arc in his series. We'll see. 4 is pretty weak, but anyways, we'll see. I think Series 2's finale is my least favorite of Davies'.
I like Parting of the Ways better than this.
I agree. Parting of the Ways is pretty much perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we even get a finale that's better than Parting of the Ways.
Right.
I don't think so.
Yep.
Even in Moffat, yeah. Which brings me to my Martha argument. You were arguing for Rose last time.
So there are some things I left out with Rose, so I'm gonna retcon our old podcast and come back. Rose absorbs the time vortex. She absorbs the time vortex. The Master, he's right.
You're just leading into my argument. That's
okay.
You fool! You've fallen into the.
All right. Let me hear it.
The reason I really like Martha is because I like the companions that can save the day without being a Deus Ex Machina. They can use the Deus Ex Machina, but they shouldn't be it. So we're going to go back to Rose for a second. I really do like Series 1 Rose. She's very good. She's compassionate. She's
I won't
a
deny
person.
they fall flat on her for the second season.
Yeah.
I won't deny it.
As great of a little moment as it is, I don't like that she becomes the time vortex, essentially. I like her better at the end of Series 2 because she uses the Deus Ex Machina of the void sucker, whatever. She uses it. She is not the Deus Ex Machina, as opposed to Season 1.
Okay. Martha
clearly is a more mature companion.
But it's a great moment, her being possessed by...
It is a great moment, yes. But Martha's a more like grown-up companion. She has more agency to herself. She gets things done. The Deus Ex Machina is the Space Jesus thing.
Yeah.
But that's not her. She used it, yes.
She was basically a glorified cheerleader.
But the reason she does things this season is because she is her own person. She's not... I mean, that's where the love storyline lets her down, because she is, in that way, defined by the Doctor.
Right.
But otherwise, she is competent. She's a medical student. She is smart, can do it all herself, essentially. And they do grow on this more in Torchwood and when she shows up again. So that's almost a forward argument.
Well, here's the thing. I So that's why I love Rose. Because she's basically an every girl.
Yeah, and that's my problem with Rose. The one thing, especially series 2, with characters, you always want them to do something. You want them to have agency. And all of series 2, she just kind of stands around and waits for the Doctor to do something. And that's why I like why they separate Martha
I think
from him.
They establish, as much as I agree they kind of let her character down, they establish that she's become a little bit versed in this sort of lifestyle, though.
Yes. Yeah.
She can even do some TARDIS-y things on her own, or with the Doctor. Yeah. She knows a thing or two.
Yes.
But that's really all they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what this is going to be, spoiler time. I really like Donna. I don't like how she saves the day. Because, again, she's the Deus Ex Machina. And I like how they end her story, but I don't like that specific bit.
I don't even remember it really all that
And that's why I don't like Amy that much either.
She loses her.
Because I find companions to be better when they're not special. They just happen to be, like, traveling with him, you know?
Is that not what Rose is? Well, I guess she becomes special to him.
I mean, that's not really what Rose is. It's more that she needs the time vortex to save the day, as opposed to her own agency.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And I do like Martha more than Rose. I was joking about it all season, but
disgusting.
I do, yeah.
That's disgusting. Likes independent women. Cringe.
Yeah.
I like women that absorb the time vortex and destroy everything.
The sun, the moon.
And she's blonde.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. What are you going to do?
So, I think I've destroyed you.
I gotta go kill myself, yeah. I don't know if you have anything else to say about Series 3. It's very good. It's really good.
That's on the back of the box.
It's really good.
Darkest Corner reviews.
The Darkest Corner says it's really good. Darkest Corner says Martha's the better companion. No, she's not. Yes, she is. No, she's not.
It's our whole just podcast transcript on the back of the box.
He gets it in 1969 and he reads off of it. Yeah. Any closing statements? Closing thoughts?
No, I'm excited for Donna and the specials. I think the specials are really going to sell you on Tenant.
Yeah, maybe. I'd say I don't like any of the specials except Waters of Mars, though.
Midnight?
Midnight's not special.
Oh, okay. I keep putting it in there.
Yeah, I do like Midnight a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
I just think of it as a special because it feels like he's alone, because Donna isn't really in it.
Yeah, she's having her spa day or whatever.
Yeah.
Nate, come back next time.
Come back, Nate.
Nate, come back.
Come back,
Nate,
so we can bully you about all the episodes that you like that we hate.
I think Nate'll hate Martha.
Probably. You think so? Probably.
I think so.
Yeah, because he's gonna oversimplify it as like some sort of woman power thing.
Yeah, probably.
Which I don't really see.
Yeah, that's not.
No,
Not
I will say they knocked it out of the park with any sort of social commentary they were attempting to do in like Family of Blood and
they really did.
It's like, because it's like it might have been social commentary, but it is really subtle and they don't like.
It's just part of the story.
Yeah.